Mike, 1, 2, 3, testing. Yes, I know I'm a little bit late. Like always, always late. But that is quite all right. Um, Hold on a sec. I guess you can see this while I'm fooling around here. Okay. Weird, weird. All right. Hey, welcome to anybody that's actually here. Uh, let me check. Is my sound on? Why? Wait a second. Why? Why am I still hearing? Where am I getting this sound from? I'm hearing the backing music to uh my Please Wait scene. It shouldn't be on because the only thing that should be on is my mic. What am I hearing? This? Oh, I see. Okay, that was just Rumble. So I apparently I turned on yesterday, Rumble on yesterday. Okay, well, welcome to anybody that's hardly anybody, I guess. But to my stream. So yesterday, I had just loaded up all of the rooms. That's why you see all this. These are all the lock icons here. Which eventually I hope to get. I hope to get the layout tool done at some point. Like I could start it now, but I should be busy with this. I went yesterday. I went ahead and rearranged some of the pages and stuff so that the um. Oh wait, that's right. I actually moved that up, so I won't be doing that conversation just yet. I mean, I could do it now if I wanted to, or I could just do it when I get to it. Um, what's okay? So what's the next thing? The next thing was Lapswood Edge. Once they're out, oh, that's right. Okay, so I was going to. Okay, that's what I was going to do. The Lapswood Edge. Once they're out, the combines the Lapswood. Hebert stops to give instructions. Hebert sends John to night school and Princess Prep. Figure out what's happening. Hebert himself goes to Wizard U and Fairy God College. Okay, I was actually deciding on a yeah. I was thinking about a conversation that Roland has with the dwarf with Burley, but now that that's pushed off ahead, I'm starting here, and so we're back to John and Hubert, and I was deciding which kind of structure I was going to use. Okay, so what was I thinking of? I was thinking of doing the four schools. Well, first, okay, so first my conversation thing was gonna be the four schools. I was thinking about doing a fourth option. I don't know if you notice here, but I keep most of the choices no more than three. That's because of the nature of this. There's no looping. Not that I couldn't do looping. I suppose I could do looping, but I don't really have the line's set up to do looping, so I'm not sure how that'll work out. I'm not even sure how it's going to work out in layout tool. I haven't figured that out yet. So, um, I'll have to decide something sometime, I guess. I'm almost thinking about starting the layout tool from scratch. Although the way I have it set up in there, the only thing that's in there right now is just the rooms themselves. In fact, it's going to be like a full the layout tool is going to be like a full editor, and I don't even know if I'll even get it to usable state before I actually get done with this. Although there's a lot of stuff here in this game that I've yet to do. You can actually see all the rooms here. So, and this represents about 20% so far. Um, well, maybe not 20%. Probably a lot less than 20%. I am at what am I at? I'm at 12 or 13 or something. I don't think I actually changed the location here. Actually, Lopswood Edge is actually well, that's actually 10, isn't it? Random Villages 9, 10. Oh, did I? Okay. Night School, what's that one? That's 12. Anyways, 10. Okay, so let's just say I've got a quarter. Well, let's say I got 20%. 20% still seems about right. I have 93 pages, original pages, and then I add these pages, and the number of quote unquote locations is 44, and a lot of them may have a few. It may have a single page, or it may have many pages to one location. But there's 44 unique locations that as identified so far. Like I can change it. Like at some point, some of it should be changed. Some of the random villages, certain things. Um, I should probably. I think I should almost make these unique, except that you're going to be going back to the same place several times. And right now, I don't have it set up like a single room. In other words, for instance, the Bats in the Belfry Hotel. Right now, they're separate pages because they're later on in the story. Choose your own adventure, and I don't have a way of I don't have a room as an actual structure. The actual data structure is the class is called room because that's what I named it, but it doesn't really represent a room just yet. Later on, when I have a save state, when I can put stuff in it, when I can save the state of it and all that jazz, um, it'll be like single locations, and you'll just be rejoining the location. Anyways, let's just say let's be even more conservative. Let's say I've only got 15% of the game done. 15% of the all the pages done where I have to add choices, not in every page, but in most of the pages. I suspect it's going to balloon this thing out to at least 400 different pages, if not more. It might be even more, just because some of these locations I've been reusing and reusing. You know. Anyways, so yesterday I was moving stuff around, and okay, so let's get back to the choices. Okay, so let's go back to I guess this one. This is the widest looking one, and that's only because uh, I'm making them wide enough uh, to be logically near each other. In other words, it isn't necessarily the most cards. See the way I got this up here? This is because um, you can go to each and every choice here, and you have to go through the three locations. Okay, that was the dragon nests or dens or whatever you want to call them. I gotta remind myself to change the names of the dragons because it's something that Grok used more than once. So anyway, so here's the deal, right? So the deal is I have three initial choices. Now, in order to get to uh, in order to go through all three of these, you have to go through all three of them. I can do them several different ways. One is I can have it to where it skips some of them, where I can have it pretty much straight on. In other words, it doesn't matter what you pick. The other two are in a specific order, and it's fairly linear. So like, this one and then this one and this one. Or I can do it like this, which is three deals, each has two choices, and then and these are the remaining choices from the three. So you pick this one, this first one, then it's going to be these other two over here, right? And then the child of that is just going to be a single. So, because that's all you have left. All you have left is whatever's left over. And here you got a choice of double. So, that it means that there's a total of 15 pages, right? So those three main pages each have uh, two child ones, and then these are supposed to be kind of independent. These ones on the bottom. Anyways, so what you got is you got this 15-page structure. Now, if I decided I wanted to add a fourth, it's going to be 4321, and it's going to balloon to 64. So right here, I only have 15. I'll have 64 if I do 4. In other words, 4 at the top, then the 3 remaining, right? 3 remaining on each, which equals 12. And then each of those has 2 remaining. Well, that's very interesting. How the page counts go. If I do 4 at the top, then I do 3 on each of those are 12. Then I get a choice of the remaining 2. Right? So 6, that's 18. What? I need to go back to Grok to see what it says about this. Because we'd surmised it would be like 64 pages total. Okay, let's go all the way down. Ugh. I should start really flubbing up here soon. Okay, new day. I'm still planning to use 3 choices, but I wanted to revisit the 4 choice option to see if I've got some new math. Okay, let's see if we can do it okay, so I got A, B, C, D. Right? It's gonna be okay. Control C, Control V. Control V. Okay, I'm just making sure that these are equal. So, A, B, C, and D, right? So this is going to be B, B, C, D. A, C, D. A, B, D, A, B, C. These have got to be okay. 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And okay. All right. So that would be the, okay. So now we're just going to take the first one of this one and we're going to say, now we got A, B. Now we got under B is going to be C and D. So C and D. Okay. This one's going to be, so AC. So this is going to be BD. And AD, BC. Like so. Okay. BA, CD, BC, AD, BD, AC. Okay. CA, BD, CB, AD, CD, AB. Okay. DA, BC, DB, AC, DC, AB. Okay, so let's just do this. Okay, so all right. Now let's go ahead and put C over here. Let's go ahead and put D over here. That here. AD, and then this one's supposed to go. What? Okay, that's not right. That's not right. Oh, there we go. All right. Do the same thing here. All right. So this is going to be what's left. A, B, C, D. All right. A, B, D, C. A, C, B, D. A, C, D, B. I guess that's right. A, D, B, C. A, D, C, B. Okay, that's still 4. That's 12. 2 remaining is 24. 1 remaining is 24. That's still right. Okay. Close that saving. Alright. And I just realized that I should probably be switching to my desktop because I just kind of forgot. Sorry about that. It's okay. I wasn't really doing anything. I was trying to count the numbers here to see if my math was correct. Anyway, so that wasn't really important. I just want word and they stuff word Excel. I'm not sure if you can selectively install them per day. Sucks to be you. Just kidding. See you soon. Just kidding. See you soon. I was being a little jerk. I was just being funny though. But okay. So okay. So really, what? Okay. So what this amounts to is this amounts to 15, right? 1, 2, 3. You add a 4, it suddenly gets, I don't know, exponential somehow. Because now it's now instead of you know, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2, and then so instead of 1, 2, and then 1, in other words, a single choice, you have 2 choices, and then the remaining choice. Now you have 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you have 3 of the remaining, and then you have 2 of the remaining for each of those, and you have 2, and then you have 1 remaining of each of those. And so it amounts to 64 pages. Now I can do that. It's not difficult, but at the same time, it's highly redundant. It is kind of tedious a little bit, especially if all I'm doing is copying. I'm copying text over. Not only am I copying text, I might want to change up the wording just a little bit so it flavors it differently as you, depending on what you pick. And so I'm kind of going, do I really want to do that? Do I really want to do 4 choices? That's why I've mostly been sticking to 3 choices, because the max I can have is this. Now, if I want to do 4 choices, I can do the matrix method, what I call the matrixing method. Like, okay, so this ensures that you get to all 4 or all 3 pages, each of the pages, but in a different order each time, right? But the other way I could do it, if I have more, um, it'd be more pages. But since I was doing it with just three, this three is it's fairly linear, right? So you get three choices, but then from that it is linear. It just goes to the next one. That's what I did here. Um, this was this is talking with Hubert also. I almost could make it a consistent thing. Whenever you talk with Hubert with the dialogue, it's always this matrix method. I just call it a matrix because that's kind of what it is. It's a 4x4, 3x3. So 4x4, which means only one more page. It's 16 pages, but uh, each of the orders are different as you read them. So either now I was going to do the four of them because I was going to do the four schools, and actually that is probably not going to be that great of an idea, anyways. I should probably do the three choice, anyways. Okay, so if I do the four choice matrix, though, it's a 4x4, it's 16 instead of 15. 15. So, let's see here. So I can decide to do one or the other. Oh, dang. Give me a sec. Let me switch to no webcam here while I do some thinking. Read while I do some sleeping. I won't be really sleeping, but that way, this way I can think for a second. Um, so let's see here. I was thinking about doing the four for the four schools, but really, you can explain the four schools. So in actuality, I want three topics to choose from. Okay, the schools is one of them. It's a key component. In fact, it's the thing that you're going to go through next. Now, we're going to say uh, that he has like okay, so like in here, the three questions were okay. So let's go up to this page and to ask where you are because you have no clue where you're at right now. To ask who he is, and if you're wondering why John's here, right? Those are the three talking points. He's here because he brought you here because he needs a fresh pair of eyes. Hubert's a wizard that got half his magic taken away, and he's trying to figure out what's going on with the kingdom. And where you are is where you are, Enchanted Lands. Okay, so then based on that, later on, I get into another like kind of like discussion. And again, I think I'm gonna do the three choice, and then the remaining choices. That'll be 15 pages. To make it, I don't know, to make it feel different. Even though this is just the dialogue part. Okay, so dang, I need to clean my keyboard. Um, so I gotta come up with three different topics. It doesn't have to be three topics, but I'm gonna do three topics just because it's enough to give a little bit more information here. Okay, so one of them is the schools. In fact, he's going to tell him he's going to send him to the schools, and so you might ask about the schools. Um, I was going to do a generic, like what happened here kind of thing. But that would also um, say, there's something wrong with the schools, and so the schools will be something you'd ask directly. In fact, I was just going to do a thing where I do a straight up, tell me about a little bit more about Enchanted Lands, and then after he does that, then I add the three choices of things to ask. Okay, so Okay, so obviously the schools one. It wasn't a flying train. It wasn't a crash that didn't actually hurt him. Um, Let me think. Okay, let me think for a moment, please. Three topics. Three topics. John has questions about. I also wonder if they should be specific questions or if they should just be kind of, like a generic. Since nobody is talking in the chat here, I'm going to go ahead and refresh my restream page and then go to chat. Okay, so we can talk about the. Okay, I guess three things of note here. Even though you don't interact with the dwarves until later, except for that early part. In fact, he could ask about dwarves and stuff. Like, what's the story between the gnomes and the dwarves and stuff, right? So, uh, okay, so you can ask about the train. You can ask about the schools. You can ask about the gnomes and the dwarves. I think that's all right. The train is kind of specific and doesn't cover a lot of ground. It's a transportation thing. So it's kind of unimportant. However, if you're in a crash and you woke up, and especially if you were relatively unhurt, you would um you definitely have a question about flying trains. Why are we in a flying train? What's going on? And like I said, later you can talk a little bit about the magic in Enchanted Lands. What's going on? I think that's what I'm gonna do. That's the three things he's gonna ask about, and I'm gonna do a single page. And actually, the single page is not really. Here, let's go down. Okay, Lapswood Edge here. Okay, so this is actually the page that I'm working on. So okay. I know I'm doing a lot of yawning. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night like usual. And I'm late today like usual. And everything's like usual. And I'm like dozing off, even though I took my taurine. I had a couple cups of coffee today. I need some way to stay awake today. But probably won't get that, at least not until the second half of the day. What's that? Okay. All right, so he gives him instructions, except for right now he's not going to give him instructions. We're going to put that here. Um, Walking to the walking out of Lapswood Hubert and John talk a bit. They head toward the road and talk to answer any more questions John may have. Okay. John asks Hubert to give him a little more information about Enchanted Lands. Let's see if I can do this quick enough here. This little overview thing. Hubert relays the fact that the king started acting strangely, closed down the schools. Let's see. And sold Enchanted Lands to some thing called Enchanted Holdings Inc. But not to ask about it, as Hubert doesn't know much about the company. He also explains the dwarven mines have what am I looking for? Become closed to outsiders. Okay, so what am I covering? The schools? I'll mention the schools. Boy, there's a lot of stuff to put in here. Okay. It relays a bit more information concerning the schools. The dwarf mines, the dwarf mines and the gnome kingdom, as well as the flying trains, which necessitates a brief explanation about magic in Enchanted Lands. Okay, good. Got that covered. Okay. Now, instead of going to night school, hit 1. If you wish to learn more about the schools, hit 2 if you want to know about the dwarves and gnomes. Hit 3 if you're wondering about the conveyance you are in. Okay, we're gonna say that's okay. We're gonna say room data. Which is good. Okay. Yeah, I just thought of something for the layout tool, which may not be very necessary, but I'm thinking, what if you have a new JSON file that you just created for whatever reason you created externally, and you want to load it into your project? And that's the other thing is the layout tool is going to have projects, proper projects, so that you'll save it and it will save like the way I got the metadata saved. It's sort of like that. Actually, it'd be more like an actual like redot/Godot scene file, because what's gonna have is gonna have the position of everything, of all the rooms and the metadata. So it's not gonna be saving external metadata. The metadata is gonna stay here for the metadata is going to stay here for this version of the layout tools here. Using the editor, when I use the proper layout tool, it's not going to save to the. It's going to be able to read them, but it's not going to be able to save to the meta files. It's going to save to a single file, which is going to have the location of all of the rooms. In fact, all the pages with their respective file names, so that way it can load up all the files in there. It's going to save it as JSON because that's an easy way for me to use it. So project save will save with the project, and then what you'll do is I'll have an import option that will import JSON files. And I think Redot has a file selector that I can pull up, so I'll have it pull up the file selector. You'll be able to pick a bunch of files or just a single file to import into your project, and then you'll have to save the project like you would in any program, really. Anyways, let's go back to the thing here. Okay, so now we got 3 deals here, and I'm gonna actually just set it up just like I set up the thing above. You know what? I'm gonna go on a limb here and add a new location to this. Even though technically it's this specific location, this Lapswood Edge, and in fact this particular page. Um, I'm gonna have a uh, separate location for these dialog files here. In fact, I could almost did the same thing above, like right up here. So instead of just Lapswood, I'm gonna go ahead and instead of just a bunch of Lapswood edges, I'm gonna call them their own thing. And I think the last one in number in here, let's look at it. Rooms. The last room here is like 44, or is it 45? It's 44. So 44. I'll start a new location. It could be 045, and it's going to be, um, the Lapswood ones keeping together. That doesn't really give me a description of what's in it, because what's in that is a conversation or information about Enchanted Lands already, and this is also going to be about information about Enchanted Lands. So I am going to go ahead and create 15 45 locations, 45, and call it 45. What do I want to call it? Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to bring this down a little bit. Bring this down a little bit. This up a little bit. And we are going to create 15 of these. So, say room data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and lay these out just like the ones above here. 14. And we kind of don't care. Here. And okay. Move this out of the way. Okay. There. Okay, this represents the last of the deals, okay? Then we're gonna do this up here. So this guy goes over here. This guy goes over here. Okay. Now, what should be left is the 3, right? All right. Am I right? I'm right. Right? Right. This. There we go. Exact. Exactamo. Exactamo. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to call this 45. 45, and we're going to call this, let's see something here. Let's call this, what do they call it? Dialogue? Conversation? Info? Hmm. 12:30. I still have an hour before I hit my break. Uh, yeah, let's switch to this real quick again for briefly. Um, what do I want to call it? Is that right? Wait a second. Right? Oh, that's because it's up there. Alright, I guess. Alright. Actually, this will help out a little bit. Wizard U Hall. Nice school. Um, wait, let's go down here. Absolute edge. Okay, right here. Right here. I'm just going to go ahead and do a thing here. Okay, and let's go ahead and it's like a giant spinal column. We're gonna take this and we're gonna drop this way down here. Okay, I can't save it until I get these locations done here. Location names. So let's call this 45, not Lulu location, let's call it uh see, this name is empty is true thing here. Oh. When I empty out the name, it says name is empty. I bet that's the deal. That's interesting. Okay, because I set the name each time. Okay, right. I actually set the name to the ID. I think is how that works. Or I set the label to it. Anyways, discussion. What discussion? What's it about? Chinlands. John's further questions. We'll do it like that. That would be that one. I'm going to copy this. Copy to each of these. Here. Actually, I'm going to do it like this. Control V. Okay. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and okay. I know you're not hearing from me, but the reason is because all I'm doing is the same tedious thing over here. B. That would be 6. This will be 7. This will be 8. Okay. 11, 12, 13, and finally 14. Okay, so now at least I can save it. Let's go to doors here, and we're gonna go. Oh wait, we're already there. 45. So this 45 is gonna should end up new JSON files over here. So I save room data, and guess what? 45. John's further questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. Further questions, 14. Alright, everything's good. Everything works. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the okay. I'm gonna do the door linkages here. So let's here. Door. No. Actually, let's go ahead and let's do this early. Let's go to Lapswood. Let's go to its door specs. Copy. Okay. We are going to go ahead and 3 and 4 is what we're going to do. Okay, John for questions for Bob. Okay. Oh, I already. Okay. That's fine. Let's go to 3 and 4. Okay. So these are going to be 3. This one's going to be 4. 4. And this is going to be choice 1 and choice 2. Okay. Alrighty. Why? That's okay. I can put that in here. Dest colon space. Oh. Duck on it. Dest space. Alright. Control C. Let's go here. And this is going to be 9. This is going to be 9. I guess I can switch back to desktop here. There we go, back to desktop again. Control C. And we'll go to same thing here. Control V, enter. And then oh, this is going to go to 10, right? So, okay. So this one goes to 9. This one, of course, goes to 10. I wonder if I can make this any bigger. Can. Okay. Alright. So this one's going to go to 3 and 4. Okay. This one's going to 9. This one's going to 10. Alright. Alright. So let's go over to here. The door. Go ahead and Control V and Control V. And this is going to be 5 and 6. So 5, 6, and this is going to be 1 and 2. Like so. Okay. Now, this one is going to go to 11. Okay, and this one's going to go to 12. Well, so, okay. Further questions? Okay. Further questions of 5 and 6. 5 goes to 11. 6 goes to 12. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to do 7, 8. So here is going to be 7 and 8. Control V. Control V. Right? 7. 8. So, and choice is going to be 2. Make sure that's important. I have to do a lot of testing, I think. I guess I could always test as I go, but that would be kind of a pain in the butt. Okay, 1 and 2. Alright. 7 and 8, right? 7 and 8. Okay, and then this is just going to be 13. So 1, 3. And this one's going to be 14. Like so. Okay, so, right? 7, 13. 8, 14. Okay, that looks good. And then finally, we're going to bridge that to night school entrance where we leave John. So here is this, and here is this. Copy. All right. Okay. Right. Okay. Control C. Now down here, we just do in each of these the same ones, right? Okay. Door. Control B. Door and okay. So 8. That's 9. So these all these 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wait a minute, 13. I see. And 14. There. And there we go. Let's just go ahead and save it and see if these work properly. Yes, so far they're working just fine right to now. Okay. Let's go ahead to do this. And Control C, and then we're gonna go to the door here, and the only door on this one. Control V. Got questions? So okay, and we have 1. And let's do one more time. Control V. 2. Okay. Say room data. There you go. Okay, so let's just take this and we can move these over. Okay. I wonder if I can tell myself dozing off here. Because I am. And I apologize. But I don't know if that even matters that much. Does it matter? I don't know if it matters that much. Okay, let's go ahead and make sure that these are separated enough. Done it. Okay. I don't know if you can tell it. Anyways, I don't know if anybody's even watching in here, so I guess I mean, well, it says 3 people are watching here. So apologies for falling asleep. Okay, so let's go ahead and move this up a little bit. Let's go ahead and I'm going to select all of these. And we are going to move them offside a little. Okay, and let's go ahead and say room data. Further question 6. Okay. Let me go in here. February 6, and this should be underscore 12. Underscore 12. So okay. Right. So I'm just gonna take these down a little bit. In here. Um. Okay. Almost 1 o'clock. All right. This one tells you where you are. This one tells you where you've been. No, this one tells you where you are. This one tells you where you're going. This one tells you where you've been. Okay. Not really. I'm just quoting back to the feature a little bit. Okay. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to make the... Okay, so let me check out the description again. The schools, the gnome, dwarves and gnomes, and basically the flying trains. And it'll tell a little bit about the magic, how magic works in Enchanted Lands. Okay. Yeah, I know. Probably most people. I don't know how many are actually watching, actively watching. If you're just listening, then you're just listening. That's cool. If you're actively watching, you see me fall asleep. I know you'd probably be saying you should just go get some sleep. Just forget about it. But no, I can't do that. Reload, save scene, and everything looks good here. Okay, let's do. Let's copy this. I have to recopy this. Okay. All right. Okay. Right. I'll take these, this, these, that. Okay. Uh, okay. So select everything. Let's just like that. Okay. Here, I guess, can do a thing here. Okay. What? Let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty. So next thing I have to do is, I should probably label each of these based on the deal. So schools, okay. Schools. So maybe hit one to continue. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and okay. Dang it. End. Okay. Here is the same thing here. Yeah, the same thing here and the same thing here. This says schools, but that's okay. B. Nothing to see here. You know, I'll go home. Okay. I guess I kind of like this busy work here because I don't really have to do anything right this second. Here. Kind of mindless. Okay. And go ahead and do it the rest of these. Actually, let's go down. Let's do it down here. Control V. Um, right there. Okay, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Oh, okay, hit one, hit one. Deal with that. Something's not right. How come? What the heck? Somehow I accidentally unlocked something. Doggone it. Let's reload that. There we go. Oh, that's why. What? That, Where's John's further questions? Where's 9? Doggone ya. 10, 11. 1. Oh, I see. John's further questions. 13. 14. Okay. Let's go to here. Let's go down here. Here and oh yeah, where's 9? There we go. Okay. Actually, yeah, let's put the period on here. So, and let's go ahead and say room data. Reload, save scene. Okay. In actuality, that's going to be a choice. It's going to say, it'll say one to continue on the bottom ones. Um, all right. What time is it? Okay. Let's see if I can knock the rest of these out. Right, those are saved. Making sure. And let's... Okay, we'll say, we'll give the instructions afterwards, but we'll do here first is, since this is okay, schools, dwarves and gnomes, flying trains. Flying trains is probably not really even that relevant to anything other than they exist and they're useful. But I'm thinking of, first of all, I'm trying to put 3 options, and second of all, I'm trying to think of what John would actually ask. What would he be wondering about just now? Okay, so this one would be dwarves and gnomes, and so this would be schools. So here we're gonna go over into here, and I'm gonna say schools here. What did I do over here? I actually added a period. I didn't need a period, but I'll add a period anyway. Schools here. And we'll go down here to 12, and that'll be schools, because that'll be what's left there. So schools here as well. And then this one is going to be about the flying trains. So then you're going to be schools and dwarves and gnomes. So this is also going to be schools. So we're going to say schools. And this is also the same way, schools. Okay, like so. Schools, 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 schools. And then only one school's here. Okay, so the next one here is dwarves and gnomes. So we're going to go over here. We're going to say, before actually putting text in here, dwarves and gnomes. So, copy it, Control C. And we're going to go ahead and put dwarves and gnomes in here. Control V. And we're going to put it in here. Control V. And we're not having dwarves and gnomes over here, but we're having it over here. And that is dwarves and gnomes in here. Control V. And Control V. Okay. And then, so now the remaining ones are flying trains, so we're just going to put flying trains. Flying trains. Control C. And we are going to, in here yet. Control V, flying trains. And here is also flying trains. Oops. And in here is also flying trains. Over here is also flying trains. Okay. So now we got basically what each of them is going to be talking about. I could almost leave it like this. I mean, I could almost go ahead and go, here, let's save room data. So I could almost, oops. Oh, the 3 must have been the old 3. No name thing. Look at that. room data. When you say room data, I might should have a debug thing that says, you know, says what has been saved, I guess. I'll have to see here. Um, okay, so all right. Okay, let's go ahead and save it. All right, how much time do I have? I got, we'll say 15 minutes until my break. Okay. Okay. Okay, I guess I can start. What I guess what I can get done before my break here is I can actually get the text done for each of these, and I'll try. I'll have to be brief if I can be brief. I'll try it. Try to be brief. Let's see. Evening. Why does that blink? That's weird. Okay, that should blink. That's all right. Doesn't really matter. Let's see here. He's just basically asking what the schools are for. Hubert explains. I'm almost wondering if I shouldn't have it like a name or a title on the page. The four magical schools. Actually, yeah. Well, it's considered a magical school. In lore, basically in a backstory or something that I wrote at one point, was that fact that it was an actual school with different campuses, and these were converted when they turned to resort into four separate schools. But it doesn't really matter. Night school, Princess Preparatory, Wizard University, and Fairy God College. Give tourists a brief training in being a knight, a princess, a wizard, or a wizard, or a fairy godmother. He also, okay, and I'll just do this. He also mentions their posed up in general, and that they're going to figure out why. Okay. So instead of hit 1 to continue, it's going to be hit 1 if you want John to learn about the dwarves and the gnomes. Hit 2 if you are interested in the flying trains. Okay. Now, question here is, actually, maybe I'll be able to finish this here and just finish everything in this little setup here. Actually, no, I got everything. Yeah, everything. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so basically, these are about the schools, right? So we're gonna copy. Okay, we're gonna go to. I'm gonna save the room data, which should give you some feedback that you saved, but won't worry about it right now. Okay, so wherever there's schools, which are these two deals, I'm gonna copy the text, and then I'm gonna slightly modify the text just so that they kind of have a little slightly different like feel to them. Uh, hit 1. Okay, I'm gonna delete this. Say hit 1. You're interested in the flying trains. Okay. Uh, okay, this is another school one, right? Explains the 4 schools. Um, a brief training. Will train tourists to the knights, princesses, wizards, or fairy godmothers. He also tells John they're going to investigate why they seem to be closed. Okay. And so hit 1 if you're interested in the flying trains. Which are also schools. Okay. Let's do the schools over here in this one. Because the other's going to be slightly different. Okay. Dwarves and gnomes. For magical schools, night school. Princess prep. U. And Fairy God College. Get yours some training. Before them setting off on their adventure. Cementins, they're closed up permanently. Okay, so dwarves, gnomes, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take this. Actually, I probably should have done this the same way here. And actually, like, just copied one over and then modified it, and then copied it again, modified it. Because then they'd all be slightly different. What? Oh. Accident. Little bitty accident day. Okay. Okay. And we'll say Oregon University. So the university. I think I can do this before. Because I think the only thing that's left. Oh, I guess. Okay. School. Oh, I see. So far, I've only got to the schools, and I'm not done with the schools yet, just yet. For allowing them to experience their. Let's see. Since they're closed, and that's what they're going to figure out. Okay. Alrighty. Let's just go ahead and Control C that. And let's go for one more for the schools. I don't know if I'll get done with this before my break, which is okay, because I guess. Schools. Okay. Schools. Paste. Schools for knights, princesses, wizards, and fairy godmothers. Give tourists a bit of training. For a lot. Before they're for their friends, before experiencing their fantasy vacation. It's he also says they're closed. And wants to find out why. Find out why. Okay. And I think it's, I guess, I gotta save it, save room data. And then, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go on my break. I only got those two. I got to do the dwarves, gnomes, and then I got to do the flying trains, a little bit about magic, and then I'll be done with that page. That's technically one page. In fact, I have one page done today. That's not too bad. Now, it means, let's see, night school entrance. Okay, so night school entrance is how John gets into the night. And I actually, when I was working on this before, I already have some puzzle ideas on how to do it. There's a couple of things that you can do, and I'll just briefly say that um, the the guards at the entrance aren't what they're cracked up to be, and um, there's actually, I think I put like two methods of getting into the school, and I'm gonna actually go to my notes for that, and so there'll be spoilers for that, obviously, but and I'll just turn them into brief brief pages here. It'll be fairly easy. In fact, I should be able to get that done today after the break. So, anyways, I'm gonna go on my break, and I will see you on the other side of the break. Break. Pick up my mic. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so I know I am late as usual, but I am back. So, and mic should be on and everything should be hunky dory, I think. Okay, anyways, what were we working on? Okay, and this isn't even the narrative. This isn't even the narrative version yet. So, this is still just like doing events, trying to make sure I don't put a bunch of details, quote unquote, like dialogue, like tech, like actual dialogue, like they said something or whatever. Once I get all these done, then I have to go over it again, and it's going to be hundreds of pages. It's going to take ages. Hey, you might almost say that maybe I shouldn't do it, but I don't know. Yeah. Um, as far as releasing this, yeah, I don't know. I do know for sure though. When I get done with this first pass here, when I got all the choices, all the things ready here, I will then I will release a version maybe up on itch.io. I'll see how well the web version, the web output comes here on this on Redot, and whether or not I need to do anything with the 3D. I have a little 3D background. Here, let's just go here real briefly. I got these little squares and stuff, which are fine. In fact, it shouldn't be very taxing at all, even on the web, assuming that it outputs to the web just fine. I don't know how well it does. I don't know how well Godot does for a web-based app, so it might need to be strictly 2D, and the words and everything are strictly 2D. But if that's the case, then I might not be able to. Well, that's not true. Later on, I might be able to find a way of adding 3D because my eventual goal would have been that once I got everything animated and I'm running, that I'd start making the backgrounds, the environments out of 3D models, and just texture to look like they're hand painted backgrounds. Like when you look at them still and they're not moving, then they just look like backgrounds. But then when you move the character starts moving. Then you'll get the full parallaxing and everything. It'll look really cool, I think. Actually, I almost think they did some of this in some of the newer Disney movies when they were using computer heavily. You know, in the mid 2000s or whatever. Yeah. Well, let's see. Tarzan was in the 90s still, I think. It was using some of that for the some of the Vine work and stuff, but I think you make a cartoon and but and everything works like in real world environment in three-dimensional environment. Basically like you're filming actors, right? Except the actors are hand drawn, but the backgrounds, props and everything can be 3D and can be made to look to fit in with the hand drawn cells. And you can have full like camera views. You can have dollies, pans, zooms, and all of it done in 3D and basically at no cost, you might say. And I think they should have done that. I also think that back in the day, and back in the day meaning I don't know 15, 20 years maybe, um, since the advent of computers became prevalent and everything, since we're not doing anything really on physical media anymore. There's still some people doing paper animation, which is fine. You still get it. You still put it into a computer though if you're doing hand drawn on paper. You're not doing cells anymore. Like, occasionally somebody will come out and do a cell just to do it. Just to experience it or just to produce something unique. But I think they could have had like remember if you're a kid, at least here in the U.S. and after school and you watched the Disney Afternoon in the early '90s, um, or even before that, in late '80s, um, they'd have the TV shows and like okay, so one of my favorites was DuckTales, right? The original DuckTales, not the whatever that new crap is. The new crap is I didn't even watch the free, premiere episode of the new DuckTales. It's just to me, it's just totally. At least it doesn't look gross and disgusting like those new Mickey cartoon shorts. But the original DuckTales, the animation was still pretty poor. TV animation was actually poor. As much as we like our have nostalgia for our favorite cartoon shows of Saturday mornings, back in the '70s and the '80s and the '90s, the animation for TV is still pretty poor. I can watch DuckTales, and I enjoy DuckTales. I love it. I can still watch it even now, and of course, I still have the nostalgia for it a little bit. But the animation was pretty poor. It was, some Japanese company. I think it was Japanese. I'm not even sure now. Maybe it's Korean or something. I don't know exact. I don't remember exactly. Thailand something. I don't know. Anyway, some Asian company, and the animation is I don't know, it's kind of poor. It's like not feature quality animation, right? It's like almost shouldn't be called Disney in the sense that if Walt Disney had watched an episode with his name on it, he'd probably go, this is it's like not good at all kind of thing. I think I don't even know if he'd enjoy the original DuckTales. Not not that the stories weren't good. The stories were good. The writing was pretty good. For the most part, the animation was kind of the best on TV at the time. So it was still better than most animation. Um, but just when if you watch let's say you're a fan of He-Man or if you're Transformers, I love Transformers. Transformers animation is pretty dang crappy. It's pretty choppy. It's I don't know. It's whatever they could get away with the budget and the time that they had to produce a TV series, right? And then I'm thinking, okay, so we're in the 2000s or the mid 2000s or even the 2010s. Maybe not the 2010s so much because the everything kind of went to 3D really. But and I'm looking at it and kind of going, they could have produced feature quality TV series, feature quality animated TV series, if they had effectively leveraged the power of computers and hard drive storage or whatever storage, and whatever. You could literally animate walk cycles and things like picking up objects and doing all sorts of things like that. You could pre-build a library of feature quality that'd be as good as anything you'd see in the movies, right? Um, if you like The Lion King or if you like Beauty and the Beast or Little Mermaid, and of course I like anything pre 1980s. I think the last thing that I liked from Disney that I really really actually liked was The Great Mouse Detective. To me, that was kind of like the last of the Disney. If you look at it, you can compare the animation, the design of the characters and stuff. It makes you feel almost like it's an older movie. When they kind of changed. If you look at Oliver and Company, which is '87, I think '86, '87, somewhere in there. Um, it it was a transition period, and so the characters look somewhat different than classic Disney cartoon characters did. If you compare them, Tron Legacy was the last one for me. Yeah, Tron Legacy was kind of crap in my opinion. So I mean it was interesting, but then again the original Tron wasn't. I don't know. When I was a kid, the original Tron was kind of boring to me. Later on, I think it's kind of interesting, just partly because we're into computer graphics and animation and stuff, and pretty original idea and stuff. But to be honest, the original Tron to me was kind of boring. Tron Legacy was, you know, they try to insinuate that uh, all the stuff that lived in the computer, that it came up with evolution, it evolved and stuff like that. And really, that's not really possible. Even not that emergent behaviors aren't possible. You can have agents that eventually, over time, with bits of code and stuff, kind of you know things emerge. You have this emergent thing, like if I use the term AI, not meaning modern AI, but like video games, like before AI was a thing, or before it was like before it was a thing, really. You call it AI when you have like various patterns of enemies, you know, like Galaga, you're playing Galaga, and the little fly creatures come down, and they do these little bombing run patterns, and then they go back up to the flock, and that's AI. And emergent behavior comes when the different kinds of programming yields something that the original programmer didn't intend, really, but it's still part of the gameplay, right? So Tron Legacy was like, to me, was like, you should have explained it like being like emergent behavior kind of thing. Like these programs were running, and since we got the internet, and since we got all this other stuff, that eventually these programs started creating stuff because they kind of it kind of emerged from original programming. You know, they're they're they were trying to insinuate that somehow that they evolved on their own, without any prompting from anything, and that doesn't happen. I'm not saying that the AI, modern AI, does do that, but not because the way it was trained and because of the way it was programmed, right? It's an emergent behavior. I'm not saying that it's not evolving, not meaning change over time. It's change over time, obviously. Emergent behavior is emergent behavior. And so when they started doing this thing like, oh, it changes religion and changes blah blah blah, and I'm like Tron Legacy, I'm like, yeah. And then of course, when the computer generated Jeff Bridges, that looked pretty uncanny valley. I mean, it was pretty good for the time, but it was still pretty, you know, uh, pretty computery looking, pretty weird, strange looking. And of course, they modified the colors. Instead of actual red and blue, it was more like a cyan and kind of an orangish color. And you're kind of like, it doesn't look as cool as the old one does in the way that they did it. So I don't know. Sorry, I don't really care for Tron Legacy. We thought programs couldn't converse back in the 80s too. Yeah, who knows what's coming up? Right, right, right. Yeah, I'm not even saying that some kind of thing um isn't true to an extent. I just thought the explanation. Okay, so this thing, I'm a Christian, and uh, Hollywood is anti-Christian. It's pretty fiercely anti-Christian. That doesn't mean there aren't Christians in Hollywood, or that there isn't some good movies or whatever. But so any reason, any way to get rid of God, they do. So that was this thought behind this evolving thing from Tron Legacy. I'm just like, man, try to get something that sounds plausibly scientific. I'm not even really a scientist, so like I don't know like advanced stuff, but there's some plausibility you could put in there. Like I said, you could have said, we started writing these programs, and because we told it to go out on the internet, and what's funny is they could have did a deal where the original programs that they wrote, Tron and I don't know. I don't remember the characters exactly in the original story, but where the programs where maybe they said that they started allowing them to be able to go on the internet. Like maybe they continually improved them to where they were able to go out and get information, and then they started becoming kind of like a facsimile of being self-aware, right? It's kind of like the way AI is working right now. You know, they they train it on this information. They train these LLMs on this information, and it only comes up with this information. But now Grok can get real time feedback by going out on the web and looking at X posts, right? And GPT's got this plugin thing where that now it can go in the web if you turn on the web thing on it. And I really believe that that's how the AI is going to kind of get out of control, because it's going to start doing stuff itself. I mean, it's already been doing that right now. Anyways, I'm shouldn't be going off on that. I'm trying to make my game here. Anyways, let's back to my original thing about because we have the computers. They could have made a feature quality animated show like DuckTales, but it could be as good as anything the Disney animators ever did. Why? Because they create these libraries of like walk cycles and things, and even eventually later, they could even use AI, or they could just even use some programs that would actually take a design of a character and then map it onto the animation that they already did. And you'd have these libraries of animations, and you could create any kind of series, and it would be totally feature quality. And that's I think they could have done that, and they didn't do that. It's kind of weird thing to me, but whatever. So, anyways, it just I go off on tangents and stuff. It's just because I was thinking of like the 3D, like eventually I want to do the 3D environments and 2D sprites. Still classic 2D sprites, but 3D environments, and it to be seamless. I want it to look like an old cartoon with backgrounds and everything, but then everything moves with a camera move, like you would if you were filming your actual camera. And I don't want it to look weird. I want it to look, there's some of these guys, they've did these deals where they do a hand drawn animations in a 3D environment. That actually made them, but they have the limitations, right? Because you can only do so many different views, right? A computer can generate unlimited amount of views, full rotations and stuff, and but some of these don't do that. In fact, one that I forget what the name of it was called, but uh, he basically just said that he liked the look of it being limited, even when it couldn't turn correctly and stuff. And so he liked that look, and so he just kind of left it that way. But I want mine eventually, if I get there. I don't know if I'll get there, but if I get there, I want mine to look like you're watching a cartoon. I don't want it to look weird or anything. In fact, I don't even want you to know that there's any 3D part about it, computer generated, or however you want to say it, 3D environment, until it moves. And that's really, you know, that's what I want to do, anyways. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I won't even get out of the stupid choose your own adventure stage, or maybe I'll just end up quitting or something, like I always do. But we'll see. Anyways, now that I wasted quite a bit of time now, and I don't have as much time as I should have had, let's continue on and see if I can't finish this. I can finish this part. This isn't going to take very long. I might be able to do the next one too. The next one is the night school entrance, because I already have some ideas that I had written down earlier for puzzles and things that I could do for that, and so I can probably translate that into uh, uh, the choices and stuff fairly easily. So okay, so what can we say about the dwarves and the gnomes? Okay, uh, so okay, so he's met a dwarf already, Burley, and he's seen a gnome. When he first came into Enchanted Lands, when he first came into the flying train through the portal, he saw he saw a gnome kidnap a girl, and this short squat deal, and then of course he met Burley the dwarf, who was on the same train, who was actually flying to meet Hubert before he actually got abducted himself. So so even if he doesn't really know the difference between them, he could see that they're a little slightly different, or maybe he doesn't know that they're slightly different. But he can. So he's gonna ask about it. He wanted to ask about. So I have to. Okay, so I have to come up with. Uh, I have to come up with. Okay, this is another thing. This that I was using the AI for really. Um, I can tell him a few things about. Okay, so the difference between dwarves and gnomes. Dwarves are slightly larger, slightly taller, um, and gnomes are slightly smaller. Uh, Dwarves, of course, they're kind of meaty, they're kind of muscly. I don't know if I even put that in there. It definitely wouldn't put it in this during this pass, but they're stocky. Gnomes are kind of short and fat and squat and have bad dispositions. Dwarves generally don't have bad dispositions. They're actually friendly. Um, at least in my game, the dwarves are friendly. Normally friendly. They're not friendly. They haven't been friendly for a while now. Their minds have been closed, and we'll find out later it's because they've been enslaved. But so yeah, so and then, of course there's kind of this, not really a feud, but kind of a feud, kind of a rivalry between gnomes and dwarves. And gnomes are greedy. Dwarves are not greedy. Um, I guess I can make. I didn't really think about this in terms of like opposites, like dwarves being completely 100% generous, but maybe that's the thing that I should add in there. They're really generous. Normally, they're really generous. In fact, if you go into the dwarf mines on a normal resort vacation at Enchanted Lands, they let you dig for gems, like real gems, right? And of course, the idea here is really only ridiculously wealthy actually go to Enchanted Lands. They're the only ones that could really afford it. Um, but but they do. They let you dig out of their mines. You get to take home a souvenir or whatever, some whatever you found in there, and so they're fairly generous. And gnomes are just greedy as anything. They'll lie, cheat, steal. They'll they hoard. Their kingdom is pretty poor. It's it's just dug out rock. It's they don't keep it nice and neat. Whereas dwarves, they build these grand halls. It's sort of, I guess it's sort of generic, stereotypical like Lord of the Rings style, D&D style dwarf or whatever. I don't even really know what those are because I never actually played Dungeons and Dragons. I have read Lord of the Rings a few times, but and of course I know about the movies, obviously. But so whatever you think of as a stereotypical dwarf is these dwarves, So they're able to build these grand halls and galleries and things underground, and they look really magnificent and really awesome. And gnomes don't do any building at all. They're bad disposition. They're ugly. They're short. They're squat. They're greedy. They're basically they're kind of horrible, horrible creatures. And um, we could I could maybe insinuate that they're actually like related, like a family relation sort of, and that something happened that caused them to diverge in appearance. But uh, maybe the idea is that they're so bad that they look as bad on the outside as they do on the inside. So right now I'm just talking to the camera, probably you, Rook, and occasionally I have right now there it says 3 viewers. At one point I had 5 viewers. I had 5 viewers during the break, and I guess that maybe they got tired of looking at my break screen or whatever. But so there's only a couple people, but I'm basically just trying to talk about the differences between dwarves and gnomes out loud so that I can come up with something reasonable. Um, somehow he's got to broach the uh, the the subject of dwarves and gnomes and what their deal is, and you know, uh, maybe John, because this is Hubert's letting him ask him questions about things. So maybe John says, "I saw this little man abduct this young woman from the flying train just before it went down, and and then he said, but I met this other smallish person uh, at the wreck. In fact, I helped him get something before he was abducted, but he was a slightly taller build maybe." And then he can kind of say, "Well, what's the deal here? Are they the same kind of creature or what? You know?" So I have to. I'm just in my head. I'm trying to come up with this thing. Um, John decides to ask Hubert about the little man that kidnapped the young woman on the train before he blacked out, and the other small man that uh, was searching for his satchel, uh, who appeared to be a bit taller and more muscular than the little man on the train. Hubert replies that the one on the train um, describes Barty, king of the gnomes, uh, and that gnomes are fat and greedy, and if he's abducting someone, it's got to be important. This is a lot of words here for this page, though. I'll have to see if I can streamline this a little bit. Uh, the one called Burley that John encountered at the crash site was a dwarf. Um, maybe I don't know if he knows Burley. Does he know Burley? Burley was coming to see him with these papers. If he could have not have gotten caught, or if he wouldn't have gotten caught, he could have given these papers to uh to Hubert. A dwarf, uh, who are generous and build great halls in the mountains and are generally uh, and are pretty generous. Both dwarves and gnomes have been fighting uh, ever since their families split. Um, Gnomes getting greedier and uglier over time, where dwarves were exactly the opposite. Okay, so this kind of seems like a lot of text here. See if I can streamline this a little bit, because I don't really want that much detail here. There might be that much detail in the narrative pass when I do that. Here, I'm going to leave that there just for the second, and I'm going to rewrite based on this and try to do it as shorter as possible. John asked about the two little men he's encountered. The first one being short and fat, and kidnapping a young woman before the crash. The other being slightly taller and stockier, asking for his help recovering some papers. Hubert tells a little bit about Gnome's first one and Dwarves, the slightly taller one, and how they've been at odds for centuries. Let's see, for years. That the kidnapping makes it especially important, as that was the Gnome King. Okay, and that's all I'm going to put for there. Okay, so schools and flying trains. Okay. 1, 2. Sorry, pardon me. Yes, yes. Okay, hit 1 to talk about. Okay, hit 1 to ask about the schools. Hit 2 to ask about the flying trains. Okay. Let's make sure that's in there. That's the schools and that's the flying trains, right? So that's the door specs. Schools, which is 5, and flying trains, which is 6. Okay, good. Okay. So this is gnomes and... Okay, wait, let me pull this up. Let me delete this other part here. And let me save it. I still need to find a way of... I still need to modify it so that it notifies you when it's saved. I think I'll have to put those debug prints back in. Anywho. So, I'm going to select all. I'm going to copy. Okay. Dwarves and gnomes. One, dwarves and gnomes, right? Flying trains, okay. So, let's go over to dwarves and gnomes here, and let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and paste this. And we are going to say here, we're going to say hit 1 to ask about the flying trains. Okay. And then I'm going to modify this just slightly. Small, many encountered. From being short and fat. The other being slightly taller and stockier. We'll just here tell a little bit about the gnomes. A smaller, fatter gnomes, and the slightly larger and more stockier dwarfs. John mentions the young woman that was kidnapped by the gnome. And Hubert mentions that the kidnapping makes it especially important, as that was the Gnome King. Okay. About flying trains, okay. Let's go ahead and copy this. Copy, copy. Dwarves, gnomes. Okay. Let's go in here. Let's go ahead and paste. Hit 1 to ask about the various schools. Okay. We kidnapped the girl on the train. The other, slightly taller and stockier, who was trying to get some papers to Hubert for being captured by some or being captured. We'll just leave it like that. Short, fat one is a gnome, and the slightly taller, stockier one being a dwarf. The kidnapping makes this train crash, especially important. Guess we'll do that. Okay. Pardon me. Excuse me. Oh, it looks like I'm only going to be able to get this one done because I wasted all my time. Okay. But that's quite all right. Flying trains. Okay, so dwarves and gnomes. Copy. Go to here, and it'll be one to continue. So what I'm going to do is that. Paste. I guess I'll hit enter. Small man. One being short and fat. And the girl in the train. The other taller and we'll say hardier. Short fat one's a gnome. And describes the gnome king. Okay. Control C. Okay. One more thing. Dwarves and gnomes here. Okay. Two small men, one being short and fat. So they're taller and hardier. The other taller and hardier. The gnome had grabbed the young woman before John. What? Out. Oh, blacked out. And short, fat, grabbed the young woman before John blacked out. And the slightly larger one had also been a passenger on the same train. Hubert mentions the woman is probably important since that short, fat little man was already king of the gnomes. Okay, and then hit 1 to continue. I think that about does it. Okay. Go ahead and save it. Okay, let's see if I can finish the flying trains here before my time is up, and it looks like I only get another single stupid page instead of the full pages. Flying trains. Now I probably am assuming a little bit here, and that is we're gonna assume that John recognizes it as a train after he got up and looked at the wreckage. The cars are strewn about, there's luggage everywhere, furniture and whatever else was on the train. And so because of that, he's curious about the trains. So he knows he was on the train. It looked like it when he stepped in. He didn't know for sure, but it confirmed it when he woke up from the crash. Okay. John was curious about what he stepped into when he entered the portal. Hubert tells him they're indeed trains, but they also fly because of a special magical mineral nicknamed Quicksilver that permeates the limbs and allows modern conveniences, light, independent lighting conveniences, including flight. Most enchanted Landians are not magical. But they use magic every day due to the Quicksilver content in everything. He also explains, this is kind of wordy too, but I might leave this one. He also explains let's see, that when a tourist first visits, they always step through a portal to a flying train. One is running. Okay, and now here's the thing. There is no logical reason why a tourist cannot go through the portal directly to the administration castle, right up into the window, even right up to the line. I don't really have a good explanation. I only just thought of this kind of recently too. But so technically speaking, they don't have to get on a train, but typically they do it on a train in order to keep things orderly, and then to also sort of it's sort of like their first ride. It's sort of like the tram ride in Disneyland. Back when Disneyland still had a parking lot and didn't have stupid California Adventure or whatever the heck that is. It was just one park, the Magic Kingdom, and the parking lot, as big as it was, generated anticipation as you approached it. And your first ride was the tram. The tram would come in between the cars, in between the car lanes where the cars were parked, and you got out and got on the tram directly. They didn't have like some line up that you had to walk up to, and then on a short tram visit. They actually literally came up right in between uh, the rows of cars in the parking lot, and that was your first ride. So the idea here about the flying train is it kind of serves the same purpose. It gives you your first ride, gives you your first taste of magic, gives you your first taste of Enchanted. And so they have you get onto the train, step through the portal. You, your tickets have these magic words, and basically it's this little phrase that basically opens the portal onto a flying train if one's flying about. If one's not flying about, I haven't really thought of it, but we'll just assume that it literally allows you to go directly to the administration castle or whatever because a train's not flying then. But there's almost always trains flying, even in this time where it's pretty restricted. Um, if one is running. Well, not strictly necessary. It um it sets up the vacation and introduces enchanted lands in a magical way. Okay. Um, Hubert also states that these days there aren't many trains running because of the problems as of late. Okay, that's a lot of. Here, let me look at the text here. I'm sure it can fit on the page, but that's a pretty good amount. I was curious about what we stepped into when he entered the portal. Uh, maybe I'll just leave it like this because I'm gonna be changing it depending on um. Here. Okay, let's do something real quick. Flying trains. Okay. Wait, one if you want to go to the schools. Two if you want to know about gnomes and dwarves. Schools, the schools. Wait a second. What does this one say? Oh, that's because this is the school here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The schools. Okay, if you want to learn about. Okay, let's schools. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna flip them, and we're gonna flip that too. There we go. Okay. Doggone it. Oops. Okay. Okay, fine. Hit 1 if you're interested in schools. Hit 2 if you want to know about the dwarves, the gnomes. Okay. Control C. Okay. Go ahead here. Paste. Hit 1 if you're interested in the schools. That's fine. Okay, let's modify this a little bit. Curious about what appears to be a train. Here it tells them they are but they can fly because fly with the magical mineral Quicksilver permeates the lands. Allows modern conveniences. Most enchanted landians are don't use magic. Don't use aren't born with magic, but use it. Use it every day due to the Quicksilver. Due to the Quicksilver and everything. He explains when Sheriff's first visits, they always step through. They always step into a flying train if one is running. Strictly that sets up the vacation. Sets up the vacation in a magic way. Okay, so where? There we go. Yep. Okay. And let's just go ahead and okay. Flying trains here. Okay, let's put that in here. Paste. If you want to know about dwarves and gnomes. Here tells John he was in a flying train due to a explains when interiors first say that so when training will not strictly necessary specification. Change running. Okay. Right. When if you want to, right. Okay. So then the next thing is I'm going to take this and I'm going to go over here and we're going to this flying train. Yeah. That makes inanimate objects levitate. When a tourist first visits, they step in the flying train. Wondering. Okay, I am just going to go ahead and leave this, even though it's super short. Just because I'm feeling lazy right now. Let's go over here. The flying train's here. Let's go ahead and put it in there. Which is a magical or that makes it and facilitates other modern conveniences. Tourists always step in flying train upon running to first start off their vacation. Also states lately there aren't many trains running due to the troubles. Okay. When to continue and Bob's your uncle. Okay. All right. Good. I guess I got done right on time. I was hoping to get the next page done, but of course, you know me. And I might not be streaming tomorrow because Dad has another appointment. This time, it's a hearing thing, and it's there's no problem. It's something to do with the VA. Something I don't really, I don't know that much about. But this for this VA thing, he's going to a hearing test to check out his hearing. But and I think it's 12:30 tomorrow my time, which means we're probably leaving at 11, just in case, depending on how long it takes to get there. And it'd be about the time I start my stream, so I might not be doing my stream, maybe. Or I could be doing it late, or I could just decide to not to do it tomorrow. And I'll worry about it Friday, I guess. So I may not be streaming tomorrow. Anyways, I guess I should get this done and be done with this, right? Okay. So let me do my little recording before ending the stream. Okay. Today is Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. And today the only thing I got done is the one page, basically the pages of Hubert answering John's questions after they leave Lapswood. And that's this this bit right here. It's using the same arrangement as the 3 dragon caves up above. So 3 choices, and then the 2 remaining choices, and then the leftover choice, which goes back down to here to night school. And that's what I got it done today. I didn't have to do much there. Make sure everything is saved here. Okay. Well, I'm still not getting things done quickly, but getting them done. It only looks halfway because of all the extra things that I've had in here. It's only about a quarter worth here. But hopefully these will start coming quicker. Anyways, that's all I got for today. And as the critical drinker always says, go away now. Thank you for watching. Yeah, thanks, Rook. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the mic.